Peace. Today's a groovy day. Just got back from my walk. Warm. I'm dressed up for you today. This is one of my favorite hoodies and a really good band as well. I think I'm gonna have to listen to some Paul Bearer today. So I'm just getting settled and ready to elucidate you on daily mathematics and Sagittarian horoscope. Once again, I'm just trying to entice you to get your own. I provide you the source. I'm kind of like a horoscopian drug dealer. I mean, I'm giving you a taste of the 5% nation as well. I'm just trying to get you hooked on all the sources I'm hooked on. You know, equal opportunity addictor. So, today's mathematics. Today is April 2nd. So we've got 4-2. 4 represents culture and freedom. Culture is the refined way one lives, how you live. You know, the base, and we talked about that yesterday. The way in which you enter your day, how you start your day, how you start as you mean to go on. That starts to inform what culture you're living under. You're advertising to others. So culture is the refined way you live. The manifestation of knowledge and understanding through right actions, creativity, and communal expression. Once again, start as you mean to go on. I get down with my journal, my introspection, and then I share that with you all. You know, I share that with my wife. She, enjoys the introspective aspects because we can start our day talking about what the day means, what the day has in store, how the day feels, what power we want to take back from those feelings. And then we may listen to some other inspirational people as we're in that mindset. So by being in that mindset and setting that way of being at the outset, I am beginning to grow that in my family as a whole. So culture is the manifestation of knowledge and understanding through right actions, creativity, and communal expressions. It's the way we live, speak, move, and build. That can't be any more true. You know somebody when you see them on the street and you know they're about that life. From the moment they wake to the moment they sleep, while they sleep, they're about that life. You can see it tattooed into their skin, literally and figuratively. They are literally about that life. Their culture is strong within them, and they are going to attract people that are about that life. They are attracted to their realness because they are nonstop about that life. That culture is strong. And it's also strong in the weak water culture. People that are just, able to go with the flow and be whoever they want to be, depending on who's around them. That's part of their culture, and they'll attract that. And then their culture will grow amongst others. So, it's the way we live, speak, move, and build. The rhythm of our daily cipher. Freedom is the natural state achieved when we live in alignment with that divine culture. Remember, freedom is viewing your knowledge, understanding your knowledge without oppression. When you look at things through an oppressed lens, you're going to see things from that oppressed perspective. If you look at things without that oppressed perspective, you're going to see a wide variety of options. many more. You'll see a wider perspective. You'll see a wider range of frequencies as long as you remove the idea of oppression. We're trying to break ourselves out of mental slavery. The first way to break yourself out of mental slavery is to realize that the oppressor does not exist. The oppressor is within you. That is how you break the chains of slavery. Slavery is a mental trap. Trying to solve a mental trap with physical doesn't work. So, culture is the refined way one lives. Wisdom, the second principle, that's 2, is the expression of knowledge. It's the way we apply what we know, how we speak, teach, move, and live with purpose and clarity. Remember, you've got knowledge, but you have to understand your knowledge. Once you understand your knowledge and execute understood knowledge, that's making wise moves. That's wisdom incarnate. And it's really interesting, when I hit year 50, the epiphanies that I started receiving, realizing that things that severely affected me, or I felt severely affected by when I was 17, are now, 37 years, 33 years. It's over 30 years of, yeah. It's like anything more than 20 years has expired. So, continue on with today's mathematics. So we're dealing with culture, freedom, wisdom, 4 and 2, where the daily mathematics are going to be kind of simple for the first 10 days. Because you don't have very many numbers, so it is what it is. We are always going to be in this month in the vein of culture and freedom, which is huge. Our culture is changing as we're being introduced to new things spiritually, scientifically, metaphysically. We are being pushed to accept new things, which means that we can change our culture. There's going to be new habits that we can imbue into our daily activities through the newness that's going to be offered to us. So our culture is continuing to grow and become more flavored as well. So the combination of 4 and 2, 6. 6 is equality. The balance and harmony that comes from treating all things with understanding and fairness, giving each its proper weight. Understanding and fairness. So, obviously, if you don't understand a situation, you can't treat it fairly. Coming up on an interpersonal situation without understanding cultural differences, your lack of understanding doesn't allow you to treat those individuals fairly. For instance, not to get into deep dastardly specifics, but culture plays a lot into what we view as right and wrong, and our misunderstanding of those cultural differences lead to a lot of misunderstandings that just have a unfortunate trickle-down effect. So, equality, balance and harmony that comes from treating all things with understanding. Essentially, when one lives and expresses their culture with wisdom, freedom manifests. Equality becomes the natural result. So today is a powerful day to reflect on how we move in the world. Our actions, wisdom, a reflection of our higher way of living, culture. And are we building a reality that leads to freedom? Or is it just more mental slavery, which a lot of our beneficial activities really just lead to more mental slavery? And I'm looking at you, organized religions. They just take you out of one cell and drop you into another. The my way or the highway rules and regulations don't apply. Pretty much any person, place, or thing that says there's a right and a wrong, and if you step outside of those bounds into any of the gray areas that surround it, you're in the wrong category. I have a problem with that. Free will, ability to choose, all of those things are removed. So, essentially, are we building a reality that leads to freedom? Not just for ourselves, but for our community. Each one teach one. Reach down and help the next man up, woman up. I can't succeed until we all succeed. Any of those ideals. That's what we're talking about here. So when you align culture, freedom, utilizing wisdom, equality is not just a dream. It becomes a literal way of being. And you can see that happen when it's hard for you to decide a winner or loser in an argument because you can see both sides. That's where equality starts to fall in. Equality and decision kind of go awkwardly hand in hand, because decisiveness, swift decisiveness, often shows judgment, that you have looked at the situation, determined applied your perspective and determined the pros and cons and made a decision and went with that decision. I saw this movie. It was a philosophy class. The teacher was just posing what if scenarios and asking the class to deduce the results based on what he had presented, and the direction that their minds went and what they came up with was really, really interesting. I'm not going to give any more details about the movie itself, because it's one of those, I like to go into movies blind. I really don't want to know anything about it. I just want to see just the album cover, for instance. What does the artwork look like? What does the presentation from the marketing and director or whoever? And I want to just get a good feel for the energy of the movie. I'll know generally within the beginning of the movie if it's something that I can sit with. But so I'm of the generation that when you sat down to watch TV back in the day, when I was first able to start watching TV in the early 70s, mid 70s. Actually, it had been mid to late 70s, because it was 78 when I was 5 years old. So sitting down watching Saturday morning cartoons, we only had 3 channels to choose from: ABC, CBS, and NBC. That was it. And TV started, I think, at like 5 a.m. maybe, and TV shut off at between 9 and midnight. Public access. Oh, I'm sorry. There were 4 channels. There's always public access. So the public access channel would sometimes play. Well, they definitely shut down the earliest, but some late at night movies like Elvira, or some of the just really cheesy horror movies. But the main premise of watching TV in those days is you watch what's on when it's on. If you don't get there when they're playing it at the start, you missed the beginning. If you don't get back from the commercial breaks in time, you missed part of the show, and you were just somebody's gonna have to fill you in, and you're just gonna have to figure it out. But when they started playing movies on TV, on any number of the cable channels. This is after cable came out, so much later than the early 80s. Not much later than the early 80s, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm 52 now? Or I'll be 52, I don't know. But those details get kind of shaky. I think 1984 is when MTV came out, maybe? I can't remember. Anyways, when cable came out, MTV came out, and HBO, and then they had all these other subsidiary channels, the USA Network, things like that, where, well, they would essentially just play movies. Sometimes all day long, TV shows, what have you. But this is before cable got big enough to have DVRs, if anybody remembers that, digital video recorder, where you could, TiVo, that was the big brand name for DVR services, but you could record your show and watch it later. And that's what tipped off the whole streaming networks. Now, none of us remember the struggle of finding something good to watch because you can just queue up whatever you want. But back then, in the time that I'm referring to, you were at the mercy of what was playing. So I often caught movies halfway through, caught the end of the movie, or if I was lucky enough, I would catch the beginning. But if that became my trick. Every Sunday morning, I would wrap myself in my blanket and come downstairs, make my toast and my cereal, my coffee, and I would sit in front of the TV. And I would flip channels until I got to a movie that had just started. Now, maybe it feels like it just started. It's in the beginning and everybody in the movie is still trying to figure things out, and experimentally or experientially, you're experiencing or you're going through what they're going through and learning it. And you can kind of tell when the beginning of that story is because they're referring things in an educational way for the characters in the story, if it's a well-told story. And towards the end, they're making references that the viewer is already well aware of. So you can kind of test the tone and temperature of where the movie's at. So I would flip until I found a movie or a TV show that had just begun. Usually you're seeing the opening credits, they're playing that music, whatever. And then I would watch it, no matter what. Comedy, horror, suspense, drama, it didn't matter. Because I had coincidentally found the movie at the starting point, that was something more spiritually divine for me to watch. So I would sit there and watch it. I saw so many good movies that way. So many movies. I didn't even know the name of them because, once again, you watch what's on when you get there. How do you know what's on? There is a channel guide scrolling somewhere in the cable network. Some random channel 59 or whatever. And so you go there and watch the scroll until you get to the channel that you're on and find out what it is. But you got to stop watching the show and find the channel guide just to find what you're watching, which defeats the purpose. Watch it because it was given to you by spiritual divinity. And the gift that I received, it's like walking into a library and grabbing any random book off the shelf and reading it cover to cover. I saw some amazing movies. I saw some actors do some amazing movies before their time, after their during their whatever. I saw some really, really good stuff. And so I've kind of kept that mindset, that curiosity, so that I can experience more throughout the world. Anyways, that side quest being done and over. Today's mathematics is about culture, freedom, and wisdom, all leading to equality. So we're just trying to find ways to break out of that mental slavery, be more equal. Free is the ultimate driving line behind it all, because when you're free, you choose so much more for yourself than when you're oppressed. So Digging down into horoscopes, today's Sagittarius horoscope from Cafe Astrology for April 2nd, 2025. You can be determined to create harmony and enjoyment in your domestic world and personal life today, dear Sagittarius. And you have help from the cosmos. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That help from the cosmos that's what divination is. The way in which I found a movie to enjoy my Sunday morning with, the way in which we see what the numbers of the day and what that deciphers into what message the world has for us, what position the stars are in relation to the planets, and energetically what that, it's all divination. It's all ways of communing with your higher self. I got a lot of messages from the movies that I watched, usually in reference to how I'm thinking, feeling, or what I need to know. There was a lot of information that came through them. I would take, since I'm watching a movie that I've never seen before, may not have chosen it previously, they may refer to things that I never would have thought of or never heard of, and then I would go and research those things. I learned so much about the occult, so much about the apocrypha, so much about things I'm not supposed to investigate because I randomly watched some movie on a Sunday. Anyways, help from the cosmos. You could stumble upon information that was previously hidden to you or view something from an entirely different perspective to your benefit. That's what I was just talking about. There can also be a wonderful feeling of hopefulness. Can also be a wonderful feeling of hopefulness with you today. And family affairs or love and enjoyment can be the motivators. Even with possible disconnects, smoothing over the rough edges can be successful. The focus can be on laying something to rest, or altering a goal or approach that is no longer working in your favor. Avoid fixating on past experiences that have no relevance to the present. The moon makes its monthly conjunction with Jupiter today, which can expand your feelings about others in positive ways. Your closest relationships are especially important to your sense of emotional satisfaction today. Creativity, good. Love, good. Business, good. Which is good because my objective today is to further develop my business, get some things posted online, profiles further developed, and open and available for accepting payments, donations, and sell some products. So, horoscope outlines pretty much everything that I previously spoke about, which is why I like to get introspective before I seek guidance. Hopefully, you also will experience in your life that when you seek guidance, it mirrors what your personal guidance already led you to believe. You're just confirming what you thought and felt in your mind. So you get into a situation, it's unraveling in front of you, it's being told, your mind, body, and soul is saying, yeah, we need to run, we need to be away from this, we need to, no. And you're like, yeah, but they need my help, or I feel like I should. And your heart and your mind is saying no, and you are seeing a conflict. You're seeing indecision. You're seeing, oh no, I need guidance on this subject because I don't know what to do. And then you read the guidance, and it says that, somebody may present a situation to you that is not in your highest good. You should be wary of people presenting what seems like a quick fix or anything like that. If guidance is telling you you should be wary of a situation, and then you're like, I thought I should be wary of the situation. And so you take that as confirmation of your yes, no question as to the ethers. It's way more specific than that. Your first answer is the right answer. Your higher power said to you in the moment that the information is delivered, run. but you didn't trust it because you don't know what voice you're hearing, because we've been brought up on a lot of different voices telling us to do a lot of different things, none of which were really in our best interest, we are now finding. So we are imbued just in a societal way to be indecisive. So we question, we doubt, we don't believe what we saw in our dream, what we thought when we woke up, what our initial gut statement would be. We doubted it until we read our horoscope, and our horoscope said, yeah, dude, don't do that. We pull our daily numbers, and the numbers are all pointing towards, well, actually, the daily numbers are going to point more towards what you need to do for self. Knowledge of self, how to gain better understanding of yourself so that you can trust what your higher power says, regardless of what the horoscope is going to say, because you know, Jim Skippy, that what you feel when you wake up in the morning, your horoscope is going to reflect. That's what I have come to experience, and I hope that's what you also get to experience, because it feels pretty groovy when you can be the captain of your own ship, knowing that you're sailing in the right direction. So, daily numbers pointing towards the freedom of your culture, the wisdom to release your mind, utilize your understanding of your knowledge, and balancing that equality. Horoscope is talking about the same, and not letting the past be present unnecessarily. So I hope you find some good in your day, some ways to be good in your day, ways to elevate your mind so that those little eyes that keep looking at you, looking up to you, what are you doing? How is he getting by? Even what I'm doing here, showing you my morning, how I structure my mind for the day, that may be the little kernel of truth that somebody else needs to better their day. And then once they start bettering their day, somebody sees that you see what's happening here. It's a cyclical it's a cyclical process of doing good from the initial point of bettering yourself, selfish point of bettering yourself, but ultimately by improving I always refer to me, myself, and I as my 2x2. This is the space that I can command, and all I can be responsible for is the 2 foot by 2 foot space that I hold on this planet at any given moment. 2x2 is just a number that I came up with because I think scientifically I heard that you fit within a 24-inch square or something like that. I don't know. Sometimes going back to knowledge and understanding of that knowledge, sometimes you read stuff, fun facts, this, that, and the other, and it sits back in your filing cabinet and gets all jumbled up with other fun facts to the point that you may be mansplaining something, but it's an amalgamation of 2 different things. But the fact that you know random facts that other people don't know, you're telling them stuff that they never would have known anyways, right, wrong, or otherwise. That's why we gotta really fact check ourselves and fact check what we're told. You could be told this, but it's not really accurate. Most people will never challenge it, and they just take it on faith, and that be that. And that's where problems happen. Anyways, I hope you do good for yourself. Let that bleed off onto others. Wash, rinse, and repeat tomorrow morning and the morning after that. Enjoy your day.